everybody, and welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are today. On behalf of the Walt Whitman Birthplace, I'd like to welcome you to POETS Building Bridges, hosted by WWBA trustee Robert Savino and MC George Wallace, our writer in residence. And I'd like to introduce our trustee, Robert Savino, if he would like to take the mic.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for being there for us. And I welcome everybody to the 5th series of Season 2's Triangulation Journey, POETS Building Bridges. POETS Building Bridges is produced by Poetrybay Productions for the Walt Whitman Birthplace and led by George Wallace, who's been the writer in residence for 13 years. I'd like to thank all the performers and followers that are here today on following us on this journey, our technical director, Lisa, and George, of course, for the continuance of this program, for all he does for the birthplace and all he does for poetry. And now I'll pass the baton to George.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Robert Savino also modestly didn't say that he was one of the Suffolk County Poet Laureates, one of the original and very prominent in a lot of different activities, Italian American poetry community regionally. So thank you, Robert, for that. And I want to thank the Walt Whitman Birthplace for even putting up with us poets. You know, you think that, well, it's a Walt Whitman Birthplace and that's what they do. But they have a lot on their plate. They have a house built by Walt Whitman that they have to take care of and maintain. They have a Walt Whitman legacy to interpret and preserve and to maintain as well. So the fact that the Walt Whitman Birthplace does as much as they do with poetry, with contemporary poets, is a tribute to their broad-mindedness and their understanding of their role as a broad thing in support of poetry. So I do appreciate very much everything they've done. This is our 2nd season of Poets Building Bridges. We started it, as many of you know, in March of 2022. I did 5 weeks worth on a Saturday. And it was just like, it was a killer operation. It worked fairly well. You know, we had some glitches in it because we were inventing the wheel every week with different hosts. But it went off well enough that the Walt Whitman Birthplace said we'd like to do this, we'd like to do this once a month and do it for a year with season 2, and we would support it, which I was very grateful for. So this is our March version. So we've been at this since November, I think, November or December, the 4th one now. And it's been going very well. I'm very pleased and really honored, I'd say, to be able to bring together people who I respect and love in many different ways from around the world, and all the good work you do for poetry and culturally, as cultural agents. We're going to start by introducing Daniel Yaryan from Santa Cruz, who's in charge of and runs the Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts, and which is a vortex for a lot of different kind of poetry activities, you know, just south of San Francisco. And he's going to introduce 2 poets from the region who he wants to have represent the group from Santa Cruz. Plus, I hope we'll hear something from him as well. So for the next half hour, please welcome and listen to the poetry brought to you from Santa Cruz, California by Daniel Yaryan. Daniel, take it away.
Thank you, George, and thank you to Poetrybay and the Walt Whitman Birthplace for putting together the program, and also for inviting us, the Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts crew and the South of San Francisco crew, and Santa Cruz. And it's the 15th anniversary of Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Up, we've had some 95 rounds thus far. Target 100, maybe more. Anyway, I'm joined by Lynn Rogers from San Jose, Los Gatos, and also Cathyann Cusimano from Mountain View, a couple fine poets and authors. And yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it off with our sparring jingle that I pretty much have had in every single installment of Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. So I guess this is like a sub round, subterranean round to this event today. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. This is so you know where we're at and what we're doing. This is so you know where we're at and what we're doing. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Sparring, Beatnik Ghosts. This is who we are, what we do, and how we do it. This is who we are, what we do, and how we do it. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. We tap mystic voices from the haunts from the tomb. We tap mystic voices from the haunts from the tomb. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Put on your boxing gloves, get ready for the show. Put on your boxing gloves, get ready for the show. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts. And I will kick off with a poem about Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Beatific through Ferlinghetti's boundless glasses. Were you wearing Buckaroo bonsai specs, Ferlinghetti? Or was Buckaroo copying you? Stark raving mad glass frames, surrounding serious eyes, furling bright red flames, getting modern times, always ahead of the game. Of politics, activism, art, exerting philosophical observations, connecting to every audience from this climate to the 8th dimension, utilizing your laser beams, detecting atomic clouds, catching inexplicable drift, moving from one side of the mountain to the other, picking up brains along the way. A sharp comic wizard employing a factory of words, reinventing appreciation of communication to prove the pen is mightier. Cultural shepherd leading other artist shepherds, a beat captain unbeaten for nearly a century. And one day you'll be voted most likely to meet that carpenter cat from Galilee, hard hat, schematics, blueprints under arms, in a roving office in God's country. Who may saith, I find your satire joyous, my son, while beyond your 100th, many more jubilees await until you unearth what to do when the Pope acts more like you do, and the planet is beatific, idealistic, poetic, through your boundless glasses, projecting a Coney Island mind. And then I just have a short one here, and then I'll pass it on to the next reader. So yeah, Cathyann Cusimano, you're on deck. Escape artist Senryu. Weather forecaster becomes phantom sorcerer, controlling downfall. The Sky King cometh, ushering apocalypse into the quagmire. Gutter drop rainfall, scattered spikes of life and death. Weather is to blame. Temps hot and cold, beware lukewarm fence dwellers, dry rot live molders. Horizon haven, last bastion of dream freedom, embrace lands beyond. Thank you. And yeah, next up is Cathyann Cusimano.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start off with one that's called A Few Ingredients Short. She came to the scene a few ingredients short of a masterpiece. Fractured jewels glistening in a burnt-out sky, paper doll arm wings on a fairy queen body. She glowed all once upon a time with yippee breath and wonderment eyes. Badass muse blood under transparent emotion skin, sumptuous love on the shadow side of fragrant rose petals. Bird song at her work window where sun and moon collide and mix and measure and shine over all that is. But you won't see this unless you look. Unless you catch her living a masterpiece life, catch her singing, catch her dancing, catch the eternal nature of her voice, catch her creating works of art that reflect her soul, catch spiral galaxies in the way she sits and reads in the afternoon sun. All you see are missing ingredients. All she sees is the magic and music spilling in each scene.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's called An Affair in Red, even though I'm wearing green today. Okay. Garnet, ruby femme fatale murder love, deep blood, velvet craving, sizzling sin, scarlet affair, revolutionary red expansion, scandalous expression, pure and perfect shades of dripping full moon forever. Red nails, hair, lips, book cover of sensual delight, deliciously brief, potent, available for repeated consumption should the need arise. And let's face it, Venus Aphrodite rules. Sensual artist, mixed media lover, lifetime fingertips, 1800s explorer skin, liquid lava coursing through her veins. I'll take you there, breath just waiting to exhale. Remember that nail polish consents fear, which is to say her hands were fomenting, always fomenting, like a dusk mind of forest wind, rearranging mainstream mysticism, windows open to changes swirling in evening air. She has slow lava flow, red hair, diamond blood red nails, and I'll take you there, breath just waiting to exhale. Red square, a patch on a shirt, zigging where others zagged, fomenting eyelashes, a goddess flowing with dependable beauty. Kari took the wrong exit of seed abduction, red seed, dripping red juice abduction. She went back to velvet, scarlet velvet, leaves blazing mermaid wind, telepathic hips drinking sunset shadows, hectic red fire moon encompassing all. And then I'll do, I think I will do one more. Cool. Yeah, I did have it here. Okay, well, I guess I'll go with this one. To enchant and be enchanted. She desired strong, tender, unruly kisses, secret truth and surprise elixir kisses, ingenious affection and amazements. Crazy, sweet cuddle wrestles are the tools to enchant and be enchanted. Packed in a yes of sand, waves, free-flowing swimming, heliotropic day of joy, salted hair, ice cream, direct to maximum power to enchant and be enchanted. It's messy and scary and dark out there, but those who light a path, mend those wounds and feed your soul. They will find you. They will find you, a holy fire, a wild beast. It can't be captured. It can't be contained, burned and forged into the sea. The sharks multiply, the dolphins protect. The view from the pier is anticipation. The seat on the bench is release. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hello.
Lynn Rogers, everyone.
Homeless Jones, vibrant but grandiose dreams led her to deliver sermons in downtown San Jose streets, to sleep amid pigeons outside Five Wounds Church. It was her calling me late at night. Thanks, Rev Rogers, for all you do, which isn't much. Taking bags of discarded clothing outside her latest mental health helter shelter. She comes along late in garish painted afro, hooker style, eyelashes askew. And I ask myself, is it worth it to give the best duds I have when she will invariably lose them in a sweat-drenched whirlwind of rocky opportunities, sweeping plans? She is an evangelist, a wanderer, a true Franciscan who lets possessions fly, more courageous even than I. One special parent to another, helping my special daughter one more lonely morning outside her group home to move her own wheelchair. I looked up to see the Asian neighbor dad weeping. You are a good mother. I see you every day, he said. His teen combative son had seizures, his German wife once had revealed. He's a special boy, been dead 2 days now. Such a good boy, I heard this father say. I would give my life for one more day. Special parents understand the way of fragile joys with a soul-wrenching price to pay. For 3 years since after my husband passed, this house lay often empty. Its cupboards held dishes, mostly unused. The computer screen sat frequently blank. The garage held troughs of tools ungrasped. Until you poured coffee from blue and glass cups. Until you Googled maps from your ramshackle Santa Cruz mountain house to here and wedged your chisel into my sticky bedroom closet door. So shall we, Kathy, do you have more? Should we go around? I can go on, but I think it's, do you have more,
Go
Kathy?
ahead. I did 3, so.
Well, I did
Okay.
3 and I can come after you if you have more.
Well, we start
You
Daniel.
guys have 10 more minutes if you like, as a group.
Yeah, you know, I'll pass it on to Cathyann to if she wants to read another one, and then Lynn again.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what we pop up with. Okay, let's try not being on mute. This one's called Fireflies Don't Apologize. Straight from the chute, landing in a deflated nest. Oh, this isn't what I ordered. Well, fireflies don't apologize. This is what you ordered. Package as disguise, judged with unfocused eyes, born female, born expressive, born leader, born to serve, born to solitude, born as dance, born as song, born as wind, born as storm, born collecting secrets through senses, born glowing, born howling, born goddess, born earth wizard, born burning sand, born sea spray, born heart thinking, born touch healing, born blazing curiosity, born to balance, born to be, born illuminating shadows, born a tremendous sigh of relief, born generating luminosity, born with universal magic clenched in her fist. You grow, you change. You ordered this, you, and any and all of you, you selfish, you insecure, you in the dark, you fighting invisible demons, you with holes expecting to be filled. I no longer wear a warning label, no apologies, no diminutive dial, no walk-up counter for taking. This is a hard-to-get ticket for your favorite music with an introduction to something fantastic. Look for me like a firefly on a hot summer night, but leave your glass jar at home.
All right.
Homeless in Santa Cruz. I was walking with a well-dressed Silicon Valley man I knew, back from dinner he'd wanted on the wharf. Led him along the kitschy byways on the way to his high-rising hotel. Was caught up short by this houseless man, bundling for a night on the sandy ground, pulling one last smoke before retiring under the seaside damp. He let me take his picture to draw. His iconic image amid many there, balancing torn bags of belongings on garbage cans, littered with diners' remnants. Tasteful take-home containers became the ironic highlight of my tourist's night. Instructive, illustrative, that there but for fortune, it isn't right, go many more, poor and alone, between local bays, fogged in by our self-indulgent, affluent ways. Here, there, the growing strand of homeless souls among us from San Francisco to Santa Cruz, through Sunnyvale to San Jose, in our cities, suburbs, even beside beachfront streets. Everywhere, compassion has as yet failed to reach.
All right. Well, George, I think that concludes the sparring in Santa Cruz contingent of the reading. If you wanted to pass it on to the next group.
Thank you, Daniel. Even though, now you can get gas for your car and continue on your way. Are you broadcasting from your car?
Yes, I am.
That's a first. Are you stuck in traffic or did you pull over at all?
Oh, yeah, I'm on the road here.
That's great. Thank you. All right. That was 3 fine poets from California, led by Daniel Yaryan. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a great little town. Really great little town. I hope to be able to visit again soon. Now, before we turn on to our second group, I'm just going to welcome everybody who's an actual audience, because we have not just token audience, but we have at least 12, 15 or more people here who are here purely to share this experience as an audience, and all poets as far as I can see as well. So they have their reasons to want to hear and network. And do take this as a networking opportunity that you can talk on the chat room on the side to each other. You can post your books if you're reading today. The new books like Cathyann Cusimano has. She posted it out in her book. And talk to each other, back channel with each other. This is about networking. So that's what I hope that will come out of this, aside from the hour and 25 minutes of enjoyable poetry experience. Will be the opportunity for you to share and to continue this out in the future. And one of the people who are going to help us do that is Catherine Sorba. Catherine Sorba, as I said, I've worked with in a number of locations. My favorite Catherine Sorba experience, I just don't think it's getting stuck on a train, but it's actually taking her son in October to go pumpkin picking from the Walt Whitman Birthplace. And we had a super... So Catherine Sorba is a playwright, a filmographer, a poet, and a cultural ambassador in many different capacities. Catherine Sorba.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Lisa, and the Walt Whitman Birthplace to invite us to be part of this experience. Let me just say a few words about Corsican poetry before introducing our distinguished guest. Corsica is a very, very old community in Mediterranean, and poetry has always been part of the lives of the Corsican people. Even shepherds have a long time been delighted to hear and say verses from Virgil or Dante and greatest text, especially from the antiquity. And the Italian corpus has always been known and resound in our mountains until the 20th century. And today, there are a new creation that gave many of the songs of Corsican groups and singers. And these songs and poetry are intimately tied with the turbulent story of modern Corsica. And I'm thinking about the 20s with a movement called the Riacquisto. We could translate it by an identity and cultural movement of reappropriation of identity of the Corsican people and the notion that the Corsican people does exist. Okay, so today many young people write and say poetry, and we see a revival for writing in Corsican language with more than ever in danger of disappearance. Okay. So today with Musa Nostra Association and Marie-France Bereni, Musa Nostra is Muse Nostra Hour. Our Muse is an association works all along the year to pass words, author, artist, and makes this poetry alive. And today we choose to introduce to you three strong voices of contemporary poetry: Jacques Fusina, Patrizia Gattaceca, and Stefanu Cesari. Certain poems will be read in Corsican language. They have been translated in French language, but it's not relevant today. And other one will be read in English and Corsican. So, Jacques, c'est à vous, je vous passe la parole et donnez-nous les titres de vos poèmes à chaque fois. Merci. Thank you. So, Jacques Fusina.
Bonjour. Alors, je voulais présenter le premier poème qui s'appelle Biaggi. Da scobre si monadi, come le gelle venerdette, che si lasciano nidi e tetti quando è la Venere inguernata. Siamo sempre a valigie fatte, siamo sempre mezzo alle mosse, e poco ci muovono l'osse, e poco in e disfatte. Come li so belli i viaggi, l'avioli, i treni, i vattelli, e gli stradoti ritornelli con 100.000 paesaggi. E poi i cavalli di Dea, i più meravigliosi sogni, i più premurosi bisogni, a nostra più vecchia epopea. Ma chi ci muoverà le oglie? Chi ci mette l'ale ai bei e ci accarezza volentieri come l'acqua non le foglie, quando la gore liberata che la canta sua canzone, non tua ringhiera io alcone e che la neve una ventata. Siamo di quelli di partenza, siamo di quelli di voltata, così rinnova la brocciata, così riomba la speranza. Voilà pour la première. La deuxième est un poème qui s'appelle Dubidu. Avviedando un mare intero a luci, dall'orizzonte a arena l'orlo, gli ornisoni intrecciati ai suoi capelli, alle sue osse, alle sue pelle. Soga una jumenta e camarga ti sei portato via, mezzo alle erbe maestre. Soga qualcosa aveva mosso in sadare e ad carne, in savoresta e ad cuore. Qualcosa che ti ha vullito un petto alla tracciata, così dell'ò. A stagione è la sineria come le rieno i fiori, a stracci bianchi, ne vistiulera. Dosci podando si spalancano che ogni strada si lisciava dai beni. Avviedando sa leggerezza illesse, capito senza spiegare. Oye, qual è che sa più, ja? Voilà pour Dubidu. Et un troisième, qui est aussi un poème et une chanson à la fois, qui a été chanté par plusieurs groupes et chanteurs d'aujourd'hui, qui s'appelle Isola Idea. Isola Idea della mia alba, fiore che sbuccia e che ci chiama, fiore che s'apre e dalla rama, isola. Isola raiga è mia vita, respiro l'acqua salita, bacio lampato ai sidelli, bacio cascato dai vattelli, isola. Isola, idea di viaggio, dell'odissea che operadio, mondile sparto dei miei sogni, mondile groscio, non ti vergogni, isola. Isola, cielo dinto il sole, come quando un nuvolone che avrà scasalza e ci valla come un pensiero di farfalla. Isola, isola, idea di miei strazi, a oglia mea, ma che tu sazi, occhio abbagliolato al sole, occhio calato d'ogni amore, isola, isola fada e mai morta, cuscogliola che quanto porta a un cascoso e cuore, dove un ricordo un po' mai muore, isola. Voilà pour Eliane. Merci. Alors, je n'ai plus le son. Activer le son. Voilà.
Sorry, my microphone was out. So, merci, Jacques. And now I would like to introduce to you Patrizia Gattaceca. Patrizia is a Corsican icon. And today she is the only Corsican poetess to be published in New York by our friends of Three Rooms Press. Cat George is around, I know. And it's the first book translated in Corsican and in English, bilingual books. Was published in 2012, I think so. And we met in New York when Patrizia was there for a concert and presenting the book with Cat George and Peter Kalaftes. So Patrizia, c'est à toi.
We read in two.
Yeah.
Okay, I begin in
Yes.
Corsican and then you in English.
Perhaps you have to say that it's a Walt Whitman inspiration poem.
Yes, and the Manhattan inspiration, of course. Dademi risi e i gerudi, dademi se fantasime che filano senza retta né fine.
Give me the faces and the streets. Give me these shadows going by without truce nor end.
Dademi l'occhi denti e i zidelli, dademi i compagni e le amiche a migliaia, cobiglia per la mano.
Give me the gazes. Give me the children. Give me companions and friends by thousands to hold by the hand.
Dademi se vicende, batelloni bisigli di Berte e di vultà, a so storia di batte, di vanga e di fumaccia.
Give me the adventure, the large heavy boats that come and go when the story echoes fox and mire.
Dademi e stagione ardente e io agimi volti di e parole nuove.
Give me sparkling seasons and autumns rich of new words.
Dademi aiante e dademi ugantu, un riombu chi bolta dai geli, un musco d'ogni stonda sciolta, nanta belle di Manhattan.
Give me the people and give me songs revealed by the heavens, the vaporous perfume of a moment on the skin of Manhattan.
Dademi se vicende di bastigiade notte, di luce anche finta, torno una volta.
Give me the adventure in the wandering night, the pale light of the streets, and illusion again, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrizia.
Kate,
So,
George.
so Patrizia will come after. We will hear now Stefanu, Cesari, and then Patrizia have a little surprise at the end. Okay, Stefanu, c'est à vous.
Alors, deux textes qui sont extraits d'une suite qui s'appelle Soleil en maison 5. O me amanti, portami qualcosa da topesca, moneta, conchiglia, vetro addolcito di rena, l'acqua in buca oppure nuda. Portami lo tuo cuore che batti profonda, ogni volta che tu ti tocca parlare, o ero. O tuo parlato profondo si perde in una canzone. Quando tu cerchi arena che batti, che tu insulti i vergini e i puttani, dindo preghiera, che più ne musa. Accendi o voco non mi entri, e la violenza d'un loco palisata pianamente che mi abbiuccia. E la tua storia non ci vuole mai a domandare niente. Dei basta i mucaturi, i memori, ricordati sinalità di uvaro, i coltelli che usali un nasdrutto. Ed io, cari al sotto d'altro, se me ne vengo bene, una mano a stringa, non si che da si giudissi. Aria al sotto moa invece di mura qui, ritrattata senza sapere, il tuo racconto sfatto. All'alba non sai più che viso metta, anche dopo d'esserti ritirata da un lutto da arena di spiaggia, preghiere invinocchi, lacrime di scontreri, non c'è niente a fa. Fermi, a vidola nera d'un loco nero. Ciuria che tu partissi a ali, pa un'essa mucata dagli stati in pianura. Fidola nera, ti si stringi il cuore a vedalo, sto paese lontano traversato di vascedi, di corpi giovani appena unti, di rumensoli. Non trovi manco più il coraggio di pronunciare il suo nome, di chiamarlo me casa. Obedazzi te, da è passata l'andata. Saranno qualche sondiuzza nel calore di una storia. E c'è stato da chi do in tascemma stancassi all'amore, corpurito in pieno giorno. Dovresti ricominciare altro, senza violenza, un'altra storia, e ci parleresti quattro era voci. Merci.
Merci, Stefanu. So, Patrizia, come back.
Yes.
So it's a special experience here. I will read a text from Patrizia poetry in English, and yes, from extract from Isula d'Anima, the book we were talking about from Three Rooms Press edition. And so I will read the text in English, and Patrizia will sing it because it's also a song. OK? Donc, je commence, Patrizia, et tu peux chanter même dessus, si tu veux. C'est toi qui vois. C'est la musicienne que tu es, Iva. So, my island dream is from disheveled memory, within the soul deep silences, the open wound in the retrieved word, what the hand tells, what the hands do. Just a thread hanging by an ancient song, a precious moment picked up in flight, a branch against the skin, a return to spring. My island is from disheveled memory. The ship wanders and sails in revolt on the defiant wave and the two-faced sea. Blue grass of the whirling mirror, within the soul lay deep silences. Love and sorrow merge in a human soul, sensual awakening in the heavy fern, in a brilliant whispers long for coming days. The open wound in the retrieved word. Destinies in exile return without reunion, waved handkerchief of a final farewell. The book opened at the just read page, what the hand tell, what the hands do. Children's song harvested in the sky, sweet and moving voice of fervent light, takes their names away in the abyss, in your requiem. Mother, my laments returns, my island dream.
Umo sogno isolano e di memoria sciolta, alla rige di le sevano silenzi arcani, a verida brumonda in la barola dolta, ciò chi a mano gonte faceno le mani. E solo un filo appeso ai ganti landani, una stonda preziosa lì spensata golta, s'ammatia a fiore di belli d'oro negli verani, un sogno isolato di memoria sciolta. Awascilla se persa e naviga rivolta a un maro zumato e i mari vordani. Verde specchio d'urchino chi boghe girivolta alla rige di lesse si arcani. L'amore si confonde in li pensieri umani, sbonurata laziosa in la viletta volta, i sospiri riaghi di danti l'indomani, a verida profonda in la parola d'orta. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is okay for us, George.
How beautiful. Catherine, would you just give us a couple of sentences to describe the linguistics of Corsican? Where is it in the Romance languages? Or can you just give us a little illustration? Can you do that for us?
Briefly. Corsican is an archaic Italian language, who has not evolved, and that's really an ancient language. And today we have a lot of discussion about co-officiality of language in Corsica, and it's a hard struggle to make hearing this language today, but it's our language. It's the language of the island and of the Corsican people. Until the French people doesn't accept that there is a Corsican people, that will be very difficult for us. And that's what I could tell you about this language. But it's really a voice of Mediterranean.
Right. So perhaps Maltese have their own a language which is similarly autonomous as a language.
Yes, but not only autonomous. Okay, it's a really a language of all Corsican people. Okay, and
how about, I'm not going to take too much time with this, but how about in France? Like, for example, in southern France, is there a southern France dialect or a language, a semi-language of its own?
There's the same problem with other language and dialect in France, okay? Because France always said there is only one language in France, is French, okay? And doesn't accept that there is an officiality in other language and dialect. And that's a big problem, because Europe has, according to right, to have this language and to keep them alive. It's really a problem and very danger. And I told in the beginning that Corsican is more than ever in danger of disappearance, okay? And yesterday, the French authority said that Corsican must not be speaking in the Corsican Assembly, for example, you see? They are not allowed to speak their language, and that's...
Well, I guess across Europe in various ways, you see Catalan reemerging out of Spain as its own language, and Welsh and Gaelic reemerging in parts of the British Isles. And so this is a phenomenon in many places, reemergence of endangered languages, really.
Yes. But it's absurd, because to speak a lot of language, it's something very great, and we must open to the rest of the world like this. All the Latinity is in Corsican language, you see, and open your minds on other language also. So, and it's part of our identity too, our familial identity, our story. And I told you that poetry was intimately linked with Corsican history too, and the story of Corsican, and always the struggle since the 18th century till today.
Very interesting. I would love to hear lots more about it another time, but you can find out more about that. I posted, and I'll post it one more time in the chat room, a link to the Corsican poets, Musa Nostra.
Yes, musanostra.com. You could find everything about it.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Kat and Peter, for bringing Patrizia's poetry and Corsican poetry to New York. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of New York, now we'll turn to our third group, led by Jeffrey Wright, co-current cognoscenti of Live magazine, and done many different things in poetry for many years. And has been a good friend to me with New York City. From the Inside anthology, he was instrumental in finding people to add to that anthology, which we did in 2022. He's a hell of a guy. I'm disappointed he's not wearing his Detroit hat. He used to have a Detroit hat on forever. I don't know what happened to it, but I put on my New York cap just specifically for Jeffrey.
George, man.
A couple of poets from New York City. Jeffrey Wright.
So much, George. This has been a wonderful afternoon, and what a great series that you've done here. Thanks to the Walt Whitman and people and his poetry and your inspiring leadership, and also putting together that great anthology you just did. You had us reading there all over town, people. So thanks for all of this. And let me say that the new Live Mag is just hot off the press. It just got here. And our readers are in the issue, one of the last two issues, Eve Packer and Gregory Crosby. And I'm delighted to have them both here and to be here with these fine people that you've assembled today. And we're having a party at Howl, if you're in town, on Thursday the 16th. And we're gonna have a film by Marcia Resnick, and we'll have some other poets, and we'll have contributor copies. So with that being said, let me introduce Eve Packer. And she had a book by Fly By Night, the legendary Steve Cannon Tribe's imprint. And her latest book is from Ontana Media, No Mask, No Talk. And her style is slender, spare, and sweet. Eve Packer.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, so thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, people from Santa Cruz and from Corsica. That was like a revelation. Thank you. Rhythm and twist, how we walk, New York. What crazy makes out of towners tourists, not from here persons. At turnstile, hesitate. Wait, at corner. Don't maneuver, stairs, escalator, steps, street, block the passageways, hover the door, disturb the rhythm and twist, push, pull, trigger, mean, I mean, New York beat. Thank you. What is love, Billy? I say, we are Playpen. I think Playpen is still there, actually. Plumed and feathered, girls of paradise. Wait a minute, I'm gonna start again. What is love, Billy? I say, we are Playpen, girls parading, plumed and feathered birds of paradise. Billy slammed down tokens right and left, fistfuls of peppermints, Friday, rush hour, high fives, and air kisses to frequent customers in this semi-naked arena. What is love, Billy? I say, and he puts it on the mic. Being one with the one you desire. You could walk in on your hands and knees. I'd put my arms around you, give you a big hug and kiss. Other people wouldn't understand, but I do. Love, what is love? I say to Dylan, the redhead cop on the corner, like parent with child. Like the church says, come hell or high water. Love, what is love? I say to Candy, the transvestite he has just chased. The one with the terrible face job, awful jaw stubble. I guess this is her corner. Caring for me, she says. Desperation leaking from running mascara. Caring not about what I do. This is my job, but for me. Love, what is love? I say to the Romanian taxi driver, what makes me the greatest fighter in the world. Love, what is love? I say to my friend Nancy, wet underpants. Love, what is love? I say to Bob, first warm day of spring, looking up, coffee cup in hand, he says, constant sunlight. Love, what is love? I say to the voice in my ear, and you say what I'm waiting for you to tell me. So now I'm going to switch, yes, to one or two from this book, No Mask, No Talk, from Ontana Media. And the great Lori Ortiz formatted it and the whole thing, put their photos and stuff, which I took, but she did the beautiful work. So this from my west window, I'm gonna read maybe three of them. All right, this one comes with a photo. This is 4/15/20. Okay. We are having a glorious spring. Yes, we are. Masses of yellow flowers, orange, purple, blue, deep blue, purple, and pink, pink, white, very vivid, all shades. Overflowing branches and buds, robins in abundance, the sun enameling the Hudson, bicyclists and joggers in perfect silhouette, 10,834 dead in New York. I'm going to skip to 6/1/20, also with a photo. I don't know if you can see it. This is from Washington Square Park. Okay, on June 1st, 2020, 7:50 p.m. Sunny, no humidity, a breeze, and at 5 p.m. a protest at Sheridan Square. Peaceful, small scale, packed. The focus, gay and trans people of color. Before the reading of the names, the last speaker says, "We all belong here. If it takes them forever to figure that shit out, fuck them." 8:53 p.m. I'm sitting in my kitchen chair, facing the west window, and the blue, gray, lavender, pink streaked sky cloud backdrop for the rooftop water towers shift shape to stark cylinder cones in black, sipping my Smirnoff and OJ, listening to Coltrane on disc 6, and I don't want to die, miss, never see this. And the last one from the book that I'm going to read, oh, wait, no. I'm going to read this one, 12/15/20 for Sparrow, I guess, which Jeff was generous enough to include in number 18 with this fantastic cover of Live magazine. I'm going to read it from the book, but it is definitely in here, and it's a great issue because of the other people in there. The amoebas of hope rounding the door, mermaids of sorrow, sprinkle, slam, dunk the ocean floor, Pinocchios of hopscotch, pole vaulting, red neon light. When I was young, I used to wear a red dress, no garters, no snake, no problem. I think maybe I should finish up. I don't know, how much time do I have? Time to finish up? One more? Okay, this one because Lori said she wanted to hear something recent, and this is also definitely for George Wallace for reasons he will understand when he hears it. This is from yesterday, 3/10/23, noonish. Holding on by my toenail threads, looking out the long rectangular sealed window at Westchester Community College Yonkers campus, formerly Sears, no classroom windows, stark bare white walls. I'm thinking of all the shades of blue, of indigo and cobalt, of turquoise and robin, of gray and pale and tinged with sorrow, of trapdoors, of sitting on the floor at rehearsal with paper coffee cup, of the trip that will be canceled, and maybe, just maybe, rescheduled. I'd like to conjure a rhyme or parallel pineapple universe, wondering who I would be if I were a flag. What would my colors broadcast? My shapes and patterns, not stars and stripes, something tawdry, worn, ripped, not shattered. I'd wave my blue-grays flecked with gold, or maybe my hot neon pink, red over lush purple. Maybe more than one flag is what the breeze needs. Maybe I would be heading on stage, not sure of my costume, not yet. But here I sit at small, round, Formica table, paper coffee cup from Zaro's Grand Central in hand, about to give a midterm. My blues flecked with gold, on hold. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, Eve.
Actually, Westchester Community College is what it is, but the Valhalla Deli is perfect for coffee. at 7:30 in the morning. You get to hang out with all the regulars and find out what the gossip is in the little town of Valhalla. So I recommend that. Back to you.
I'll
Jeff.
have to try it in another
It's-
life.
Gossip of the gods. That's what we live for, right? Valhalla. Well, here we are in Valhalla. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Eve. That was lovely. And thanks everyone again for hanging out here and getting to hear everyone like this. So our next reader is Gregory Crosby. And Gregory has a book, Said No One Ever, from Brooklyn Arts Press. And he has another book from the Operating System. And I want to say that Gregory's style is au courant, hip, and sharp. Please welcome Gregory Crosby.
Thanks, Jeffrey. No pressure. Oh, cool. All right, here we go. The eclipse. Turn around, bright eyes, slowly, with your hands on your head. This is called We, the Rose and Tomb. The Gulf of Mexico's aflame today. The Arctic's fever will never break. I lean against a cloud of marble full of lightning in little black veins. The Arctic's fever will never break. The ice only gathers in hearts now. Full of lightning, the little black veins carry all blood away from the brain. The ice only gathers in hearts now. It's cold inside these seasons of flame. Carry all blood away from the brain. A brain freeze, falling in a freezing rain. It's cold inside these seasons of flame. The Gulf of Mexico's boiling away. The heart is ahead, no longer startled by the coolness of these clouds of marble. And this is called, these are all recent poems. This is called Love Letter to Loneliness. In a bar with no name on Amsterdam, waiting for the night to turn to noir, remembering what it was like to be lonely, as if all the stars in the sky noticed you only to forget you. No longer lonely, yet how often the ghost of loneliness sits down across from me, a sad smirk on its faded face, shrugging stardust off its shoulders, as if to say, you won't remember me, but I was you. Something about sitting in a booth instead of a table invites this. How pleasurable the memory of loneliness can be, its misery, the drenched clothes you've shed after a storm, the shiver that ripples to nothingness as you sit by a fire. Now alone in amber and dusk, lit from within if not from without, I raise a pint glass to the no one not facing me at last, to absent friends whose absence I admire. It's good there's no mirror behind the bar to cast a superstitious glance. Always meet the eyes during a toast, says my wife. She's right. She's right. She's blessedly right. This is called Daily I Recall John Brown's Words on the Scaffold. Is it the question underneath the skin, or is the question the skin itself? Is it sorrow or fatigue with sorrow itself? Is it itself, or is it something else? A stranger is just an other you haven't othered yet. Is it a second civil war, or a civil war unended, unending? But oh, that I were young again. But no, I'm not. Here in the 11th hour of the 11th month of the reprieve, the weary heart pleads for an armistice everlasting, this living death turned to the deathless life of a dream not deferred, not deterred, but present, a waking dream, a question unasked because it's answered. And this is entitled The Arch-Verse Sestina of Winteringham. It is not, however, a sestina. The Arch-Verse Sestina of Winteringham. It claims to have 39 rooms. In truth, they're the same 6 rooms 7 times over. The facade is a faded gray, fading further every day into a gray less distinguished than disembodied. The grounds are in shocking disrepair. Tours are by appointment only. No one ever makes an appointment. No one cares. Though it's comforting to see the turrets above the treetops as the train pulls in. Knowing it's there, silent, not foreboding, a patient witness to entropy is nice. It's nice. And niceness always comes around again, like a sunset or a last word. And this is a poem called You Were Only Waiting for This Moment. Long ago in the house on Amber Drive, my much older brother went to put his boots on and saw something dark deep inside the left one. And when he shook it upside down, a bird flew out, small, black, swift. It shot up the basement steps into the kitchen, wheeling from dining to living to family to den. My mother screamed, swatting at it with a magazine. I opened the front door. We ran from room to room through our now unfamiliar house, chasing it as it flapped and darted, a panic of wing beats against the ceiling. Don't let it fly into the window, my mother cried. My brother, boot still in hand, waved his arms beneath the bird's pinball parabolas, trying to drive it toward the door, all while 3 small dogs lost their tiny minds. Finally, it reached the foyer, ricocheted off the lintel, and flew out. How a bird came to be at the bottom of my brother's boot on the floor of his basement bedroom is the only family mystery that remains. They're all dead, and only I remember that day, a dream neither confirmed nor denied, but forever close by, singing in my mind, a bird you will always hear high in the green, a bird you will never see. I put my boots on carefully. And I think I have time for just 2 more. So I will wind things up with these 2. This is called The Double Feature. Hey, how are you? Circling the drain like the blood of the innocents, or circling the boat like a shark with its reverse smile, its dead eyes full of more life than you know? Have you checked your messages? If not, don't. I'm still here living out by the airport, but metaphorically, right? Once I lived by the water just in case, but in case of what exactly? I don't mean to end on a question so much. It can't be helped. I want to help, I do, but it's as if the pod people from Invasion of the Body Snatchers started a podcast. And every episode was just, aren't you tired? Don't you need some sleep? I could only sleep with the earbud nestled in my right ear. If they made Blue Velvet today, there would be an AirPod in that severed ear. No one would ask Frank how his fuck was. We would all know. We would all know. How are you? Is this point A or point B? Is my pain your mirror, or is your mirror my boredom? When you think of me, do I think of you? Am I thinking of you just by thinking of me? Is I a we or just a wheeze? A hit from a mask? Don't look at me and forget what I said about your messages. Maybe there's something in there. And finally, a little sonnet. Thanks again to everyone. It's great. All of the Corsican poems and poets which sounded beautiful and lovely. And Santa Cruz, I have fond memories of a weekend in Aptos, which I will not go into. So this is my last poem. Thanks again, everyone. And I will drop some links to my books in the chat. This is called How Close Are the Fires? When my father's mind began to go, I wrote a poem about it. That was 30 years ago, and now I'm 5 years away from the age he started to fade, slowly, then swiftly into all the silence since. One voice says, so it goes, and another, there you have it. 2 ravens, ready to tuck their beaks into their wings and sleep. You see the smoke long before you breathe it. When I place my ear to the ground, I hear the glacier grinding, fainter and fainter. I think of my father, blank-eyed in hospice, the AC on high, his skin in goosebumps with only his dreams still hot to the touch. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, Gregory, thank you. That was wonderful. A hit from a mask. Beautiful stuff. And Gregory again is in the new issue of Live Mag. You can find us at livemag.org. And I'm going to start off with a sonnet, which seems appropriate since Gregory just ended with one there. And this is called The Quick Key. Ever shrinking path to glory's kennel, sunset's corsage smudges the Hudson. Cormorants command black pilings. Loneliness spreads grape kush wings. Who says you have to work late? Who insists you flirt with posterity? Time races on in a black thunderbird, ashes knocking at the fire door. Who says you need to guard the exit? A burning submarine fingering the sea. Fun melts away as you polish light, chasing the hounds of fame. Razor thin euphoria is a wake-up call. The party is here, inside these cells. So I have a book called Party Everywhere from Xanadu Press, and that's what I want on my tombstone there, Party Everywhere. Salvos. Night rides hard on its quarter moon saddle, chasing a dream through December's froth. Pounding on tomorrow's back door, I barge into the passageway, tracking a whim. Leaves frozen on the path head for home. Crinkly carnations stretch pink truth. We dither with dust's feathers, ever grateful for heroes we find in dark spots. Bernadette's gotten younger since she died, taking time and scattering it in glitter wind. My personal goal is to score. There's some eggnog left and rum from Haiti. Be my stage and I'll be your coach. Lick my wounds, be a salve for love's slave. Salvos, couldn't resist. Spacebar. Once I caught the tail end of a gone scene and held on like a true wag. Burnt nights on top of a hot fiddler, hijacking crude glory in crack-tiled hallways where smoked angels fucked amid echoes of Lord Buckley. You were a ladder of fires, a convoy of convocations, a sigh inside a silo. Now rusty wind rustles wispy hair, the white caps of memory plays, the fallen clutch at our cuffs, sunflowers in a vase start to curl. Just for a bit, let's skip that part where we behold what the bells told. Yeah, man, those bells. Paradise Answering Service. November draws its purse strings tight. The moon ducks into a bank of clouds. My old lamp blinks, its wiring worn out. Between useless and euphoria, I sleuth for meaning, meandering from Chelsea to the river, listening to the shivers, to Robert Kelly lifting scripture off a mirror, on windmill attack mode, milling around in my grab bag of jeans. At the end, the language we suspend will shepherd us past midnight's derrick, leaning on eternity like a vagrant. Oh, I'll still pay for the foolish love I spent when you were on top of my to-do list. And I just want to end with two more. I wanted to read this one for Kat Georges, who's here, and she was sweet She and Peter put this in Montagnat, and it's called Doomsday Glacier. And it has a little epigram here. Epigraph. Look out, Captain. She's gonna blow. Which we all recognize as from Star Trek, Scotty, the engineer. Doomsday Glacier. How to ignore the cold vapor on the nape of your neck. I picture my mom in 1949, fraternity sweetheart with her pearls on. I want to be a poinsettia near the altar when the choir lets it rip and you get that chill up the stripper pole of your spine. Hallelujah, treadmill of toy professionals. Get real, America. I guess it's time to stock the bar and break out the glass axes. Are you ready to rumble? Rudolph sees what's coming and closes his eyes. It won't be long until the fat lady sings the apocalyptic heartache blues while we think up fun, new things to do. Makes me cry. The situation we're in, you know what I mean? Thank you so much, guys. One more. Drambury to you. Sexistentialism. Daylilies rave, brief candles on a cake. June was a blip, a blurred face stealing past strobing slats. A few words left like ants on our picnic blanket. Feeding the blaze between your legs, I strode into the winner's circle like the square root of a lost division. A witch burning sentences at the stake. I'm yours, Starfleece. You flay me. Venus, hot-wired and gasping. The mattress bucks, doubling as a prow, rejoicing in juice, salting light, blotting time with the word countess. My life a Mandela of thirsty glasses. Thank you so much. Thank you. Such a great audience and wonderful readings. Thank you, George. Happy Poetry Month.
It's great. Thank you so much. That was Jeff Wright. This is Friends from Live magazine, which is just out now. I think it's issue number 20. Is that an annual? Jeff?
19, Party at Hal. We're going to have some readings coming up too.
Good. That's great. And if you go to the website for the Corsican poets, which Mura Nostra, I think it's called, it's actually got their magazine, their review, which very interestingly, when you open it up and you go turn page to page to page, it just doesn't show you page to page to page, but it makes the sound of a page turning. It should turn the page, which I thought was very interesting. And of course, Daniel Yaryan's Sparring with Beatnik Ghosts omnibus is 600 pages, just an amazing accomplishment. So all of you have done great work for poetry in your own way, and joining with us today has been a part of that experience. So let's keep building together and making good poetry happen around the world in our locations and sharing as well. I invite you.
And George, look, I put on my hat just for you, son. Now we got Detroit in the house too. Yeah, baby.
We got Detroit in the house. Evan has his Oakland Athletics hat, and I was looking to see if Kathy Cusimano had her San Jose Sharks cap, but I don't see it. She's a San Jose Sharks, which anybody know what that is? It's a hockey team. Well, she's a big fan of them. So we do have sports fans among us today. So this is it for us for today's episode in series 2 of Poets Building Bridges. Once again, I'd like to thank Robert Savino and the board of directors for introducing this, and the Walt Whitman Birthplace and stuff for hosting this as it goes on over the course of this year. It's been a great show. Stay tuned for more of them month by month. And I have posted the playlist of all of the shows to date, which is now up on the board in the chat room as well. So With that, I'm going to say that's it for the show. It did it in a very, very efficient an hour and 120 minutes, which means that we'll get a lot of hits because it's not an incomparable 2 hours worth of poetry. So thank you all for joining us. We'll sign off